I pretty much view all women as the same, right? And I say that all women are the same in that I want to give a hot take here. So this person left a comment under my texting horror stories video, the one where about the guy that was like pestering the girl with all the mean texts, right? And he said that video was glorious. And I love the last text exchange where she was going on often about why it is that she didn't like him. One of the things that she said was that he was using so many manosphere talking points that, oh my God, like it was just after 15 minutes, I wanted to leave. So he said, I have to admit, there have been times I've been on dates with women where they've shown all the outward signs only to tell me later that they're not interested. At times, I've asked if there was any feedback they had for me. I think given the bridge is burned, why not? And I've done that too. I've asked girls, hey, so what can I do better on dates? I could be better in the next relationship, yada, yada, yada. Like, and some of those things are painful to hear, but they really do help in terms of your growth, which is why you have to be open to realistic criticism, like criticism that's going to actually help you. Like a girl just saying, you're a B or you're whatever, that's not helpful. Her saying like, hey, you talk a lot, stop it. Or hey, you chew with your mouth open. Take those notes. They can help you out. He says, but this guy in the scenario is the classic nice guy. I know in my younger years, I made the mistake of using pickup artist language on dates and inviting women into my views on evolutionary theories of attraction, like alpha males and whatnot. And there wasn't a single woman who ever dug that crap. Men who indulge manosphere talking points scare the crap out of women, not because some of it isn't true, but because they naturally conflate it with all the toxic BS out there. And who could blame them? The problem was you shared what you know with women. So he said that comment, and then this other guy made this comment to that guy saying the problem was you shared what you know with women. And women hate knowing they are not unique or special, that they are just basic like everybody else. Plus, if you look at what works on women versus what they say they hate, is often the same thing. Why would you even reveal you know this stuff? Just apply it. So I mentioned this on another show briefly, but basically, this idea of like, hey, and hey, here's the thing. When I started learning this stuff, I wanted to talk about this stuff with everybody. Like I wanted to go out there, oh my God, I finally figured out why women talk this way and why they do this thing and why they fall for bad boys, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to talk with that about men. And I wanted to talk to all that stuff with women. And what I found is that women unequivocally do not want to hear this stuff. Now, some women, admittedly, do get to the point where they're fine with like talking about it. And there are women in this space that like talk about men's issues and try to help other women understand men. But the difference is women that listening to that are hearing it from a woman say it, so it's easier to digest. But here's why it's hard coming from men, because all women are going to hear is, oh my God, this man is trying to learn how to manipulate women because he's desperate and he can't get women on being his true self. So he's got to learn some tricks and tactics in order to do that. Now, all I teach you guys on here, I teach you guys about like, conversation things and like, but what I mostly teach you guys is, why it is that when you do action A, the result's going to be action B from women. Like I say for you guys, for example, the reason if you don't text them all the time, the result is they want to hear from you more, or they'll come to you. Or if you don't try to see her all the time, the result is she's going to build feelings for you quicker. Like I want you to get an understanding of why certain actions are better than others in order for you to make the decision for yourself about what you want to do. And it's funny because like I had somebody, I always tell guys like, I say, you, as much as I want you guys to listen to my stuff and buy my stuff, ultimately, you have your own journey. Like everything I give you guys is based on my personal journey of dating. I believe the stuff that I'm saying is right. It has worked for me. It has been effective for me, right? I wouldn't expect you to just blindly assume that what I'm saying is right and then have it work for you. I want you all to say, look, how you've been dating up to this point is working a certain way or has not been working a certain way, right? So I found these are things that work for me. They may not work for you. You could try out the texting thing and be like, you know what? I met a girl that I text every single day and we ended up dating for 4 or 5 years. So you're wrong, Harry. It doesn't work. That's your journey. That's totally fine. I'm just telling you guys what has worked for me. And then if it happens to work for you, that is fantastic. But I wholeheartedly want you guys to go out there and listen to my stuff and actually try it out before you take what I say as gospel. Because I can be wrong. Hey, I can be wrong on the texting thing. I can be wrong on a plethora of other things that I talk about. Like, you guys need to test this out for yourself. I don't think I'm infallible in terms of the advice that I give. But to that point, when you go out there and tell women this stuff, here's the thing. I mean this with sincerity, and I mean this in a not mean way, right? I pretty much view all women as the same, right? And I say that all women are the same in that they all think and feel as though they're different. And when you go to a person that wants to feel like they're not the same as everybody else and that is different from everybody else and tell them that, oh, I can do this one thing and get all the women, the result is going to be, that's not me. I don't fall for that. That's, like I said earlier, that's bad advice. That wouldn't work on me. How dare you? Because women don't want to feel like they're getting manipulated. And women don't like the idea that you could potentially be doing stuff to them that's going to make them think and do things that they wouldn't normally do, right? But here's the thing, guy, like men have that too. Like men have things that we don't want to get called out for. And so I don't take any harm in like, oh, I can't talk to women about certain manosphere things or about red pill things or yada, 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 because it's like ultimately if they want to feel like they are different. And there's a reason for that, because you got to think about in a woman's life, right? She's trying to find a guy that is going to be all in on her and take care of her and do things only for her and their family and nobody else's, right? And so in their head, if you view every single woman as the same, then why would it matter if you do stuff for her that you would easily do for another woman, right? That's their thought process. So if you're given the impression that you're going to treat all women the same, it doesn't make her feel like you're going to treat her any special or give her extra protections or give her extra whatever when you get into a relationship with her. And so if you come at the thought from that perspective, then you better understand why she doesn't want to hear about like, oh, guys just say if they do this thing, blah, blah, even if it'll work. Like, again, the number of women I've come to and said, hey, if I wait 4 days to text you, oh, no, that wouldn't me. I'd never fall for it. Every woman that I've dated, every woman that I've gotten in a relationship with, across the board, that's worked on. But if I were to ask them directly when I first started dating them, hey, so I've had a great time on this date, so I'm not going to call you for 4 days. Is that cool? They'd all be like, no, don't do that. You're playing games. Okay, I just won't tell them about it, but it works. And to the other point too, I stress that, I also stress the all women are the same narrative, because I don't want you as a guy putting any woman on a pedestal ever, because you come to women and you're looking at how attractive they are and how hot they are, and you're thinking, oh my God, she's different. Oh my God, I feel things. Oh my God, blah, blah. And I'm assuring you, most women in terms of attraction need to go through the same process, and most women on a variety of different levels act the same. I'll give you an example, right? This is just an example that I found because I'm less judgmental of women. I have found that women are willing to be really open with me in terms of things they've done in their past, in terms of things that they've gone through with other guys, even girls that I've dated have told me like stuff, right? So but here's the thing, here's a brief example, right? I found that almost all women have at a minimum of one major life secret that they don't tell anybody for fear of judgment. And it could be something as like, oh, like she hooked up with 5 or 6 guys at one time in college, or she robbed the bank one time, or she stole money from this and that. Like every woman, the most high value Christian woman you could think of, down to like a goth chick, down to like the prostitutious woman, down to like the also angelical, would never harm a fly woman. All women somewhere in their life have done, said, reacted in some way that they keep to themselves, because they know that you probably can't handle it. And you're thinking, but I can totally handle it. You can't. Like, again, I tend to be, when women tell me stuff, my reaction, I stay nonchalant. They'll tell me some stuff like, oh, that happened? Oh, interesting. In my head, I'm like, oh my freaking God. But I've learned, if you want people to tell you stuff, you got to be even keel when they tell you some stuff, even if it's something you wouldn't agree with, even if it's something that's kind of jarring, even if it's something that shakes the core of who you viewed them as a person. But this is why I don't put women on pedestals, because I know that all women probably have at least 1 or 2 stories in their arsenal about some stuff that they did. Or I've had a lot of women tell me that they've done hookup things for a wide variety of people, I'll say, that, again, I didn't ask that. They just told me, but it's like, oh crap, what? Like, so because I've had that happen enough times, I don't judge women on that. But I know that across the board, most women have that. So that's just a small example. So I say this to say, if you treat every woman like in the beginning, like they're the exact same, you can't put them on a pedestal. You can't obsess over any particular woman, because you're like, whether she's the hottest of hot women or just average to mid, you're going to be like, but what's behind the looks? What's behind what story do I not yet know yet? And then also you'll also find that whether she's a highly attractive 10 or lowly level bottom dweller or somewhere in between, that in terms of your conversation with them, in terms of the level of patience you need to have with them, in terms of them needing a 2 to 3 month journey to feel attraction, all the same. And if you go into the dating game knowing that, then when you learn a blueprint that's designed to help you get through the dating game to where you go from first meeting them to get into a relationship, you'll find that it all works the same. Like my introvert dating success program, it's literally a step-by-step program that's designed to walk you through the dating process. So that way, in the span of 3 months, you will attract this woman in a natural way and get her to a relationship. And I put the program together because after like the third woman that this worked on, I was like, oh, so this is a system that just across the board just works to attract women into a relationship. So anytime I'm in a relationship, I'm like, this is fantastic. But I know if I lose a woman, I have a system already in place to get the next woman. So therefore, I don't have to walk through life in fear of like, I'll never find somebody. I can find somebody. If the person I'm with that I care about so immensely dies, I can go out there and find somebody tomorrow because I have a system that's in place that I've seen work effectively on all women. And because I don't give any levels of like, this one's going to be more high level than this one, and this one's going to fall for this, but nothing one over here, then it makes my dating life immensely easier having a system in place to do that. Now, again, you can check that out at the website, introvertdatingsuccess.com, because yes, I'm going to ask you for the order, but yeah, check out the program. But the point is that, yeah, if you treat them all the same in the beginning, you can't put them on a pedestal, you can't get nervous, you can't get anxious because you're like, I already know what to do for any woman. And ideally, that'll help you to narrow down to the women that are sane and good and lovely and kind and caring and all that stuff. And it also helps you weed out the women that are not great because the process is the process. It's going to work great on women that are sane and women that aren't so sane or that are overly anxious or that are impatient. It won't work on. And that's good because you need something in place that's going to help you weed out women. And I think there's not enough guys out there that are doing things to try to get rid of women early on because we're such in a lack of abundance. We're thinking, I can only get this woman, so I got to do everything right. And it's like, what about testing to see if she does stuff wrong? Ever think about that? Like that women can actually be bad partners and that if they're argumentative, if they're not patient, if they're yelling at you for not texting after 4 days, that they're maybe not the best partner because I found that out. And so I actually want stuff in place that's going to help me get rid of women and only keep around the ones that are sane and lovely, you know? Anyway, guys, Psych Hack says the same thing. He says the reason the girl you like doesn't like you is because you treat them special. Yeah, it really is like, here's the thing. It's not that women don't want to be treated special. It's that subconsciously women want to earn that. And when guys give of themselves and overextend themselves too early on, it rings an alarm system in a woman's head. It's like, what's going on? He's doing too much too soon. Why is he trying to do all this stuff for me? And it makes them start thinking negative things. So guys need to understand that, yes, you want to treat your girlfriend special. The woman you're dating is going through a 3-month process that's basically a research project for you to determine if she's worth you treating her special. And the nice thing is, sane women understand that process and will not get hurt for you not bringing out the whole parade when you first start dating her. The ones that aren't so sane and that aren't so patient, it'll get rid of them. Good.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high